know that your college classes right now could be killing you? With this in mind, let's talk about how learning to relax is a key component in managing a stressful life. My 3 main points of the topic are what causes stress, what stress causes, and how I can alleviate the stress. Now imagine you're late for class again. You have a pounding headache, your kids haven't helped you at all, they've been screaming at each other nonstop as you're trying to get them out the door. Now you're on the freeway, it's 8 a.m. traffic, and every lane is going down to 1. As you're sitting there idling, you're lamenting the fact that the head cold you had is now gone to your chest. And while you're doing that, you fail to see the taillights in front of you, and you rear into the person in front of you. What else could happen today? Now, let's talk about my first point. What causes stress? Noise, bad weather, traffic, deadlines, exams, finances, families, what's coming up in a week, holidays, illness that you might have had, an accident. American Psychological Association conducted a stress survey of the last 10 years, and we're going to look at the 2007, 2011, and 2015 statistics. In 2007, overall stress was at 62%, with your health, with money and work being the #1 cause. Good news is, in 2011, your stress went down to 59%. Still #1 cause, work and money. Bad news, in 2015, unless you were making $50,000 or more, your stress didn't change at all. So in 4 years, it stayed the same. Now, let's go back to our scenario of the freeway and the person that you hit. Your headache is now throbbing harder, and you pull over to the side of the road so that you can gain your composure. And as you're getting out of your car, you hear this yelling. What were you thinking? Where did you learn how to drive? Are you an idiot? Now, that was probably the G-rated version. But you do the only thing that you know to do in this situation, and you start yelling back at him. Or in my case, you start to cry, which causes you to wheeze and cough some more. Which leads me to my second point, what stress causes. It causes headaches, stomach aches, fatigue, heart attack. It also causes you to be bossy and nagging and over or you undereat. You become agitated, you're anxious, you're bored, or you cry easily. You have a lack of concentration and you cannot focus. You make poor decisions and your judgment's out the door. According to the article Life Events, Stress and Illness, published in the Malaysia Journal of Medical Science and posted to the United States National Library of Medicine website, the research shows that if your body goes into chronic stress, every part of the system of your body shuts down. You cannot cope. So let's go back to our scenario. You're 15 minutes late, you're not listening, your classmates and your professor have noticed. After class, your professor motions to you for a moment, and you begin to enlighten them on the excuses of the problems that you've had this morning. The first words your professor says is, "It sounds like you're stressed out." Their piece of advice, you wait for it. It's words of wisdom. You just need to relax. Unfortunately, if you were waiting to hear the magic incantation to eliminate stress in your life, I can't give it to you. But what I can give you is a recipe to help you alleviate and manage the stress. According to the article Heart Disease and Stress from the website medicine.net, relaxing is something we must learn. It takes practice. So that leads me to my third point. What can we do to alleviate stress? The time is now, however. You need to schedule time for relaxation. A little, what I like to call, me time. So you need to make that time. It could be a few minutes, a few hours, or even a weekend. Put it on your phone, put it in your fridge, put it in your car, wherever you can see it. Your health depends on it. Do it now. I said a little me time, but actually it's a little you time. You need to, #1, unplug. Turn off the phone. Unwind. Take a bath. Take a stroll. Go for a run. Or how about do the unexpected? Do something different. Take up a hobby. Volunteer. Smile at a stranger, for goodness sakes, just to see what the reaction is. So let me end by sharing my personal story of a headache that landed me in the ER. I had been extremely sick, And I had crazy hours working and taxing my kids here and there. I didn't think I was stressed though. I didn't have any signs of it. I felt emotionally okay. But after a while, I started to realize that I wasn't getting any better. I couldn't concentrate. I couldn't even stand. At one point, I couldn't even talk. My head was racing, but my lips couldn't keep up. The hammering in my head was so intense, nothing I did could take care of it. So after 3 days of this, my husband packed me in the car and took me to the quick care, where immediately, as soon as I walked in the door, the receptionist saw me and immediately carted me to a room where a nurse took my blood pressure. It was 180/110. The doctor came in and said, you have two choices. Either you can get in the car with your husband and he drives you to the ER, or I'm calling an ambulance and you're going there with them. Needless to say, I get in a car and I go to the ER with my husband. We get into the ER and they run a series of batteries of tests on me. EEG, EKG, CAT scan, MRI, blood tests, urine tests, other tests I can't even remember. The diagnosis, sporadic hemiplegic migraine, which according to the health information website, healthline.com, it is a type of headache that not only causes the constant pain associated with a migraine and the light and sound sensitivity, but it also gives temporary paralysis, loss of one side, and your slurred speech, which sounds like it mimics a stroke. So what is the general cause of this headache? Extreme stress. The doctor advised that I needed to learn to manage the stress in my life better, or I'm going to be seeing him again. So I began to practice to relax. It was difficult to set up the time. I'd always thought relaxation meant hours and days, but it really could mean minutes or just even moments. From my personal experience, I had to learn what causes stress, what my stress was causing, and how to alleviate the effects. I had to let it go in order to keep it together. I had to learn to relax.